The views and opinions expressed on any program are those of the producers and/or the persons appearing on the program, and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of FRC Media, Bristol Community College, or the City of Fall River.
Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip.
And I'm CJ.
And it is hump day in a rev. Another day in a rev.
The first hump day of 2021.
And does Starfleet Commander COVID have our numbers, or are they still withholding?
I have our numbers. As of yesterday, we had 379,633 cases. New cases is 4,178. Total deaths is 12,464. New deaths was 63. Bristol County has 36,957. Fall River had 127 new cases, bringing the total to 8,623. And we had 7 more fatalities, bringing us up to 237 fatalities. Now, the thing, I know that some comments were made yesterday about some comments I made or allegedly made in regards to corruption in government center or in the administration. Let me make this very clear. My definition of corruption definitely differs from what many politicians think corruption is. Corruption takes many forms. And if I said that your administration was corrupt, I can tell you one way I thought it was corrupt right off the bat, by moving the Bank Street Armory to the RDA to avoid putting it out to bid, as your chief of staff said on WSAR, that was the purpose for moving it to the RDA. There are reasons for the law the way they are. And like it or not, we have to abide by them. Now, if you can find the loopholes, great. I'm glad you found a loophole. But I still think that you went out to this place in Pawtucket. You saw what a great job it was. The gentleman who did that job approached you, and all of a sudden, he gets the building. Out of the clear blue sky, he got the building. You know, I can think of a couple of people right here in the Fall River area that could have possibly gotten that building and done something good with it. I can think of one right off the top of my head, Alex Stylos. I just look at what he did to the old Taunton Courthouse. He did a great job with that. So there's other companies around. It's nice to keep it local and maybe meet with those people. And then if you want to use your loophole and say, well, this is, you're from Fall River, you can do this project very well. I see what you've done in Taunton. Maybe we can do that here. But no. It's a political favoritism, and the patronage jobs and the patronage deals and all the political favors that are going on, in my opinion, are a form of corruption. It's not clear and it's not transparent. And as long as it's not clear and not transparent, there's something that people are trying to hide. And this administration is trying to hide things. And now, from now on, Mr. Mayor, if you got a question to ask me. Do not go to Mr. Camara. Do not go to anyone else. Ask me. The problem is you don't want to put it in writing. And I'm not going to talk to you on the phone because half the time when you talk to me on the phone, you change the stories. And Chip can say the same thing. We don't like it. That's why there are other people in the city that don't like talking to you on the phone. They want it in writing because they don't want the story to change. They want documentation. I want to know exactly what's being said. You've already turned around and decided to use your muscles, Mr. Muscle Man, and make it very clear to me that you don't want me to get the press releases. Well, guess what? I get them anyways. So you have a problem. This is no longer a personal thing, Mr. Mayor. This is not supposed to be personal. You have to get a thick skin. And if you can't get a thick skin, quit your job. People are going to do this. Just follow social media. Look at what people are saying about you. You look at you and you've got to, wave your hands and make everything known to the world. That's not the way it works. Everything is in a political time.
Well, I guess it hit a nerve there, but no. Listen, corruption, and I'm looking up the definition in the dictionary as I always do. Because it is an adjective and a verb, and but it's basically when you act dishonestly or maybe not ethically for money or personal gain, whether it's political gain. So I guess we could argue all day about the definition of corruption, but I think that the government is the very definition of corruption. This is the problem that not only Fall River, but all government agencies have. And that's the reason this country is in the total state of chaos that is in. Listen, you and I have been around this city for a long time, and we've been involved in politics for a very long time. I negotiated. We had rules. We didn't agree. We went to the JLMC. We were asked to prove our cases. I always proved my case. The problem with Fall River, and it's getting worse as it is throughout the country, is that the same political insiders basically made all the money in Fall River for the last 30 or 40 years. We can basically look at 3 or 4 major financial players in Fall River, and they have their fingers in virtually 85 or 90% of everything that goes on in the city of Fall River. And that does not make a healthy environment for a city to grow. When you get new, fresh, outside developers who are actually willing to put something in to sell their product on the merit of their product, I think it enhances any community. That's the reason that I hate politicians. I always did. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I'm an independent, and I think that politicians are like diapers. They should be changed often, and for the same reason. But we've seen Fall River. We know who we're talking about. We've been talking about these people for years, and their developments, and their special loans, and their circumvention of the law to give them the money, to allow them to do the things without fair competition. And without competition, that's the very essence of our democracy and our capitalistic system, which is probably not going to last too much longer, because it looks like Warnock's in, and it looks like Ossoff might get in, because they spent over $130 million apiece versus $34 million by the Republicans. And it's a razor-thin election. But again, they're going to show that people don't care about qualifications. They don't care about anything. Politics has become a marketing exercise. So they ran a bazillion commercials. You've got people Ossoff has no record. He's just a rich yuppie who had the lowest entry-level job for what they said today, which I found ironic. I never actually saw that. I saw it this morning. Who was branded the dumbest congressman in Congress, who thought Guam was going to tip over if they put too many troops on it. He actually asked that during a hearing. If we move so many troops from Okinawa over to Guam, will Guam capsize? And it was very difficult for the admiral of the Navy to keep a straight face when he said, "No, we're not really concerned about that, Congressman." But this is what we get. We're getting people in there who care nothing. They're dumb. They have their own personal agenda. And what they're focusing on is getting power and eliminating all the words. Now we have a man and a woman, and you can't be labeled a mother, father, sister, brother. And to that I say, you know what you can do with that crap. I'm proud, and my mother was proud to be a mother, and my father was proud to be a father, and I was proud to have him as parents. And to eliminate these things for some convoluted BS for the snowflakes, so you can make, I forgot who said it. but they said it very, very clearly. We do not expect equal outcomes. We can only ask for equal opportunity. Because if you get equal outcomes, people who are getting things that they don't deserve. Because if everybody has the same equal opportunity to compete, the people who have the best ideas normally win. It's like in a baseball game. Are we going to start? Are we going to start weighting the score based on the ethnic and racial composition of the teams? Does somebody with 2 less black people on the team get 2 extra runs to ensure an equal outcome? Or even if they lose, they win? That's ridiculous. All you can, in a truly fair society, you can only ask for equal opportunities, not equal outcome. The outcome will be predicated on what transpires during the competition for whatever is being competed for. As long as that person has an equal opportunity, you're not blocking people out based on anything. Everybody has an equal opportunity, and therefore the outcome will be this should be a meritocracy. It should be about merit. Therein lies the problem with government, as you said. And I tend to agree with you, because the fact is that government always, on all levels, they don't care about the working man. They don't care about fairness or equity. Anything they say is absolute bullshit. They don't care. Our state delegation gave themselves a 6.5% pay raise when this state is in the toilet. They gave themselves increases for their staff and all their expenses, while everybody's trying to scratch their butt looking for a $600 handout when they're giving you your tax money back. But they don't care. Do they really care? They raised your gas tax. Nobody gives a damn. Nobody gives a damn. These people are there for their own benefit and for their own power on every single level. That's why we got to clean the swamp. And you know something, people? What happened in Georgia shows you can buy an election. You put 2 more pinheads in the Senate who have no agenda that's for the people. They have their own personal agendas. And the great thing about it, I never thought I'd say, well, I'm really happy to live in Massachusetts, but you know something? They're going to take over the entire government, but it's not going to affect us one iota in Massachusetts, because we already live in a socialist state. We already live in a one-party state, a state that's a disaster, like California, like New York, like all the blue states that are so deep in debt from throwing money at the people who don't work and taking money away from the people that do work. So guess what? They're going to try to undo the Supreme Court. They're going to try to get rid of and I'm going to just sit back, relax, and watch the carnage, because it's going to get ugly in this nation really quickly. And on a local level, well, CJ, as you said, questions have to be asked. Why did you move the money? Why did you look to circumvent the bidding process? Is it fair? Is it good for the city? Now, as I said, he's entitled to his opinion and he can give it. My opinion is that everything should be, as when he ran for office, be transparent. We should be trying to get as many outside investors into the city of Fall River as we can, not keeping all the money in the hands of, we all know who those investors and money men are. We know the names, and we know the buildings, and we know all the stuff they've been involved in. Is that the best thing for Fall River? No, because all those rich guys are living outside of Fall River for the most part. I think one of them still lives in City Fall River. But they all moved out. Most of them moved out. They all live in their palatial estates, and they're making billions of dollars. And what are they contributing to the city of Fall River? Nothing. They're making money on their investments. They're virtually employing no one. But do you think
tons of tax breaks?
Exactly, tons of tax breaks. And do you think that does the city of Fall River any good? Do you think if we brought in 5 or 10 new investors who you can say, we always hear about Fall River. Oh, look how great Fall River is. We're near all the highways. We got a deep water port. We got this, we got that. It's so great. We want everybody to come. And then when they try to come, we give them the finger. But you can't have this. We already got this bid. We're going to make sure our buddy gets this bid. This is how Ciancia, as big a crook and as corrupt as he was, he took care of the people of Providence. He brought in outside investors. And when he did, he met with them and said, the first thing you got to do is employ people from the city of Providence. You got to go to the local unions, talk to them, and employ people. If you're gonna make money in Providence, you've got to give Providence something back. And, you know, regardless of whether you liked Buddy or not, and I personally liked him, you know, I got to meet him through, you know, the fire department, and because he's very friendly with Stevie Day in Providence and stuff. But I did know Buddy a bit, and I liked him. He was a hot tomato, but nobody, whether you like him or dislike him, and you thought he was corrupt or not corrupt, he put the people of Providence first. Yeah, he took some money, but he put the people first. He created the Renaissance in Providence. And how did he do that? He brought people in that wanted to invest in the community, not the same old rich guys lining their pockets some more. So that's my little mini rant today.
No, it's not a rant. It's the truth. And this is the problem. Okay? We have a mayor who doesn't have a thick skin, who takes everything personally. It's not personal. It's just the way it's political. Take it the way it is. And you acting like a child, okay, to say, well, because I don't like what you're saying and you're saying it wrong, I'm going to not give you the press releases. I'm not going to give you this. I'm not going to give you that. Guess what? You get it anyway. One way or the other, we get it. It's not that big of a deal. It just makes you look childish. And that's the sad part about it. That is totally the sad part about it. And I made it very clear to the mayor when I sent an email that said all our communications will have to be in writing or via email. That's it. That's the way our communications are going to be. And he doesn't like to put things in writing because then he's held accountable to it. At least that's what I believe. That's my belief. I don't want to say that's what he said. That's my belief.
Well, look, I've said before, Paul, and I've known Paul for a long time. I like Paul personally. But I've had mayors that I liked and mayors that I disliked, and it was totally irrelevant if they did something wrong. I mean, John Mitchell and I are still pretty good friends. I knew John before he became mayor. When he was mayor, him and I went hammer and tongue. I actually wrote an open letter to the mayor that we put in the Herald News that basically eviscerated him. And, you know, he wasn't happy with the letter. But I said what I had to say. I kept it about the issues. And therein lies the rub. You have to deal with the issue. Let's deal with issues. You know, this is the problem. I think I had a conversation with the mayor yesterday, and I talked about this. I said, you know, it disturbs me the way politics has evolved over the last 4 or 5 years, that everything has become personal. You know, you can't just look. Years ago, we used to fight over the issue. You think it's better to do it this way? No, I think it's better to do it that way. And I'll put my positions forth, and you put your positions forth, and we'll let the chips fall where they may. Just like you're doing an arbitration, you put what you say is fair and equitable, and the city does theirs, and somebody picks, or the voters pick. But the reality is that now it's become vitriol. It's become personal. As soon as you question or come out against anything politically, they're attacking you personally. They attack people's families. They go to their places of employment and try to get them fired. And, you know, and isn't it ironic that we have a society that is supposedly so woke and so concerned about everybody's feelings, except the people who disagree with them? Those people should have to be summarily executed, because we have that 14 or 15-year-old girl who made a dippy thing when she got her license and used the N-word, as I said, and not in a pejorative context or anything like that. It was just, she thought she was going to be like a rapper. So now they've ruined her life. She had to withdraw from the college that she always wanted to go to, and they basically ruined her life. But then we look at politicians. They do the same thing all the time, but they're forgiven. You know, what happened to Hilaria Baldwin? That had a blip on the screen. They even showed her faking a Spanish accent. And then she admitted, you know, you found out she's born in Boston. She went to a prep school, a very rich prep school outside of Boston. She never studied in Spain. Her parents had a summer home in Spain. So the only studying she did was read a comic book on the beach in Spain. But then she made herself she's a Spaniard and blah, blah, blah. And she was on TV trying to remember the names of a tomato. Oh, I don't know the name of that in English. You know, you grew up in Boston. You should be able to you should know what a cucumber is if you grew up in Boston. But then you got Trudeau with blackface. You've got people making inappropriate comments, but if they're a Democrat and a liberal, well, we forgive them. Well, we absolve you. You can wear blackface, sing Mammy for 27 different times, make videos of it and everything else. You know, have a minstrel show. But then again, who are you? You're the liberal Prime Minister of Canada. So we forgive you. Some poor, pathetic 15-year-old that thought she was cool and ended a sentence like a rapper to impress her friends, her life is now ruined. So this is my problem. There is no equity in this society. Get used to it, and it's only going to get worse now. If Purdue loses this and they take over the Senate, this country for the next 2 years is going to be a disaster. It is going to be a disaster, and the America that we knew is going to evaporate, and it may never come back. It may take a generation to come back. And shame on the voters, because they are stupid. They can spend $130 million in commercials to convince people that some guy that abused his wife, poured urine on a kid and made him sleep outside at a camp and then covered it up, belongs in the Senate of the United States, who said that you cannot serve God and be in the military. With all the men who were buried under the United States flag and who fought for this country and fought for the God and fought for our religious freedoms. So it's pathetic, and you know it's going to be let's see what happens with the Purdue election, but it looks like this may be the beginning of the move to socialism.
Well, socialism in Massachusetts has been around for a long time.
That's right. That's what I say. We'll never know the difference. It's not right. It's like welcome to our world. You know, it's like living in New York, California, where Newsom can go to the French Laundry and lock you in your house, and Cuomo can go anywhere he wants. And if you get mad, his brother will come over and try to beat you up with his dumbbells or something. So, you know, and of course, Massachusetts is another all blue state, and we're deeply in debt. So now they're going to be happy as pig and snot. They're all going to get bailed out. They've run their states into the ground. People are leaving New York and California by the droves. Everybody's leaving. And I think actually it was really surprising to me when the people who are leaving. You know what state is losing a lot of people, which I found really strange. I don't know if you saw it. It was Illinois. Illinois is losing a lot of people.
Yep.
So, but they're all running down to up to the Dakotas or down to Florida and Texas. But I'll tell you, like you said, they've run these states into the ground. I mean, California's become a giant toilet. I mean, all they have is people defecating and urinating all over the streets in every major city in California. And the same thing in New York City. New York, Times Square is now like a giant toilet. And but de Blasio can dance in Times Square with his wife. So this is, well, you know what they always say. You know what we always say on this show? You get what you vote in. So I can tell you one thing. I didn't move to Georgia to vote, but if I would have, I wouldn't have voted for Warnock or Ossoff.
And you're not a Republican.
And I'm not a Republican.
Right. It's very interesting. But I'm working on something which, I really didn't want to talk too much about, but I've received numerous complaints from people who were students at Durfee High School who said that they were not supported when they were at Durfee. And there was a specific person that didn't support them. And as a matter of fact, told them that if they didn't like it, they could quit school. And I'm putting all the names together now. And then once I've got all those names together, I'm going to expose that person. Like it or not. Because guess what? That's not how you treat children. That is not how you be an educator. And our system is already faulted enough. We don't need educators that do the same thing. So it's time for this school system to wake up and clean out its closets. That's for sure.
Well, obviously, we know that the school department seems to be a little slow at reacting to things. We all know what's going on over there with the superintendent, and seems like nothing is going on. And you've got the mayor hiding it all. This is where I talk about types of corruption. Okay, the fact that there's no transparency. Nobody's saying you have to say this is what he did, but you got to acknowledge the fact to the people, to the public, that hey, this complaint has been filed, or there's numerous complaints that have been filed, and as such, we are investigating them totally. Not recuse yourself because you don't have a financial gain in that issue. So that recusal was ridiculous. You just didn't want to be held accountable. Well, the thing that disturbs me about not only the mayor, but the entire, well, not the entire, we've been told that 2 people voted to terminate him. But listen, I believe you saw one of the complaints. Am I correct?
I have.
Okay. So we know there have been complaints filed. We know what some of the allegations are. And nobody is finding anybody guilty. We believe in due process, but we also believe that, especially in today, which is mind-boggling, how our school committee, Fall River is an alternate universe. I mean, in this time where they want to eliminate mother, father, sister, brother, where they want to, they're so woke, nobody can say anything, and you got the Me Too movement, and all women have to be believed. Look, but they have to be acknowledged. These complaints exist. And a superintendent of schools who's accused of these things should have been, in my opinion, but in my opinion, should have been placed on leave.
At least.
Now, whether they wanted to pay him or not, but they had to do a thorough investigation. And I find it, from what I know, and hopefully we'll get full particulars, but I know for a fact that most of those school committeemen have daughters. And to have a superintendent of schools who abused his power, because obviously it's even worse when someone of high rank does it. It's bad enough when someone is taken advantage of in the military.
I hate to cut you off, but we're totally out of time.
Shame on those people with daughters for not protecting their own children.
Exactly. Hey, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Stay safe, stay angry, and wear a mask. Have a